Modern builders seal, coat and pressure treat timber, yet decks rot, posts soften and beams fail within decades. Meanwhile, Viking ships, halls and bridges survive centuries of salt spray, freezing rain and soil contact. The difference was not better trees or secret chemicals. The difference was a single, deliberate method applied before construction began. Vikings removed rot's fuel from the inside of the wood itself. Vikings understood that rot is biological, not cosmetic. Rot does not start on the surface. It begins when fungi and bacteria feed on sugars and starches stored inside fresh wood. Moisture and oxygen simply allow those organisms to work. Vikings realized that if the food was gone, rot could not take hold, even in harsh environments. This understanding guided every step of their timber preparation. The Viking water-soaking method was designed to starve decay before it started. Freshly cut logs were submerged in rivers, lakes, tidal inlets, or bogs for weeks or months. This was not storage. It was treatment. Cold water slowly leached sugars, sap, and soluble nutrients from the wood while limiting oxygen. Microbial activity was suppressed, insects avoided the submerged timber, and the internal chemistry of the wood changed permanently. This method alone explains why Viking ship planks resisted rot even when soaked repeatedly by seawater. The wood no longer provided nourishment for decay organisms. A practical modern application is straightforward. Submerge logs, beams or thick planks in clean water for several weeks. Flowing water accelerates the process, but still water works if kept cool. After soaking, allow the wood to air dry slowly under cover with strong ventilation. This single step dramatically improves outdoor lifespan. Winter harvesting amplified the effectiveness of soaking. Vikings cut trees almost exclusively in winter. Sap levels were low, sugar content was reduced, and insects were inactive. This meant less food was available to leach out, and fewer organisms attacked the wood during processing. Soaked winter-cut timber emerged even more resistant to decay. Today, sourcing winter-harvested wood or cutting your own timber during dormancy replicates this advantage. Even store-bought lumber benefits from soaking if it has not been chemically treated. Slow seasoning finished what soaking began. After soaking, Viking timber was never rushed into use. It was stacked off the ground, shielded from direct rain, and allowed to dry gradually. This slow seasoning stabilized the cell walls and closed microscopic pathways that draw moisture inward. Rapid modern drying creates internal cracks that later trap water and accelerate rot. A modern builder can apply this lesson by extending seasoning time. Even kiln-dried lumber improves when left to acclimate outdoors under shelter before installation. Time was not wasted in Viking construction. It was invested. Fire treatment hardened the surface without sealing the wood. For posts, hull planks, and exposed structural elements, Vikings often used controlled charring. Light surface burning destroyed remaining sugars near the exterior, hardened fibres, and reduced water absorption. Unlike modern sealants, charred wood dries quickly after rain and does not trap moisture beneath a coating. To apply this today, lightly char the surface of exterior wood until darkened but not cracked. Brush off loose carbon and allow the wood to cool fully before use. This is modification, not preservation by coating. Natural oils worked because the wood was already rot-resistant. Vikings used pine tar, fish oil and animal fats only after soaking, seasoning and sometimes charring. These oils slowed moisture movement and protected joints without sealing the wood airtight. End grain and joints received the most attention, as Vikings knew water enters there first. Applied to untreated wood, oils fail. Applied to prepared wood, they extend service life for generations. This distinction is where most modern attempts go wrong. Design prevented rot as much as treatment did. Viking structures allowed wood to dry quickly. Posts were elevated on stone. Roofs shed water far from walls. Airflow was constant. Joints avoided water traps. Wood was allowed to get wet and dry repeatedly without stagnation. Modern applications include raising posts off soil, increasing roof overhangs, avoiding sealed exterior joints, and ensuring sunlight and wind reach structural timber. These are not aesthetic choices. They are anti-rot strategies. Why modern wood fails while Viking wood endures. Pressure-treated lumber relies on chemicals that leach out over time. Paints and sealants trap moisture once compromised. Vikings altered the wood itself. They removed decay's food, hardened vulnerable surfaces, and respected moisture movement. Their method worked because it aligned with biology and physics, not against them. Your wood rots because it still feeds decay. Vikings stopped that long before the first beam was raised. If you value engineering knowledge that has survived 1,000 years of real-world testing, subscribe to Thermal Vault, share this guide with fellow history and survival enthusiasts, and help preserve the methods that modern shortcuts forgot.